Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 6 of the NFL. We have 15 games to go over as two teams are on a bye. Before we do, I want to quickly say if you are new, subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Leave a like and let me know your thoughts down below on this week. Now let's get right into it. Thursday night football is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the New York Giants. The Eagles are 7.5-point favorites in this game. And this is Jackson Dart's first divisional start, and it's not against an easy foe. This Philly defense is a really, really good defense this season, and that's probably going to be the key matchup in this one is how reliable is that Giants offense going to be. They had two good opening drives against the Saints last week, and then it got really, really rough for them in that loss. Philly, they lost their first game last week, and the story of this season has been the offense and the inconsistencies with it, especially in the passing game, primarily because of AJ Brown making a bit of a scene. But to me, it's more so this ground game that has been non-existent for the most part in Philly. So this is an interesting one. The divisional games are typically pretty close. Even with that, I do have the Eagles winning this game. I think this could be a good week to bounce back and get the offense into a rhythm. But if not, and this game ends up being closer than what I kind of expected to be, it's going to be a lot of questions going on in Philly. But I do have them winning this game. I feel confident in Philly to right their ship. And just the Giants are a team this year that they're trying to figure out the pieces surrounding Jackson Dart. Darius Slayton is out for this game. So that's one less weapon that he has. He's already missing Malik Neighbors for the season. Gonna be tough. Give me the Eagles. We're going across the pond once more as the Denver Broncos are taking on the New York Jets. The Broncos are 7-point favorites in this game. Denver got that nice win against Philly, though it was a shaky win for them. Defense really stepped up in the second half. The offense took till the fourth quarter to really get going, but a win is a win nonetheless against that quality of a team. And they are 2 field goals away from being 5-0 on the season. They're feeling good on top of the AFC West, or tied for the top spot. The New York Jets, they're the only team in the NFL without a win to this point, and they're doing that without forcing a single turnover defensively. They're the first team in NFL history for that to be a case, and that is a very rough stat considering that Aaron Glenn was supposed to come in and be this great defensive mind for this Jets team. Offensively, they're also looking rough. Can't really find a groove in this season so far, and they're just a really rough team all around. I have the Denver Broncos winning this game. I have faith in Denver to be able to make that trip across the pond. In fact, they've been there since that win against Philly. They left that very next day. And all around, it's just they're a more complete team. This Jets team is still having a lot of growing pains with a new head coach, with Justin Fields in this offense. Denver, this is the second year with that Sean Payton Bo Nix combo, and they worked really well last year, working really solid this year. I'm confident in the Broncos. I have them to win. To begin the 1 o'clock slate, the Arizona Cardinals are traveling to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 6.5-point favorites in this game. Arizona is a weird team this season. On paper, they have a roster that can compete and can play really well. They just haven't really shown it this season. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been pretty much silenced this year, not even because of the other team's defense, but because of Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray is a big talking point for this Arizona team because he is lost out there. It's been since 2019 for him to be the starter of this team. And they had that one really good season where they made the playoffs, lost to the Rams. But besides that, the offense has always been up and down with them. They lost to the Titans last week in a very bad way. They threw the game themselves with the fumble out the back of the end zone, and then the fumble on the 1 yard line that turned to a offensive touchdown for the Titans. It was really weird. But the Colts, they're coming off of an ass kicking against the Raiders. I have the Colts winning this game. I talked quite a bit about the Cardinals there, but they're the team that has most of the attention on them after that past week. But I do still like the Colts. Daniel Jones and this team bounced back nicely after their loss to the Rams. And all around, I think the Colts are going to regain their stride that they had through the first about 3 weeks, and they're going to be just fine. So give me the Colts. The Los Angeles Chargers at 4.5-point favorites are making the trip to South Beach to play the Miami Dolphins. Every time this matchup comes about, it's the talk about the 2020 draft class. Did Miami make the wrong choice, picking Tua at 5 and letting Herbert fall to 6? And both of these quarterbacks do not have a playoff win at this point, so there is that. Doesn't really matter what the choice was, it seems. But Tua is 2-1 against Herbert in his career. The last time these two teams played, it was a shootout in Los Angeles to begin the 2023 season, and that was a fantastic game. I do have the Dolphins still winning this game. This season is in the dump for Miami. It's a very rough season, and it seems like that there's a lot of people on the hot seat. Maybe not the right people, but still people on the hot seat. And if things continue to go south and the stadium gets empty and fans continue being upset, change could be coming sooner rather than later. But still, I'm a Dolphin fan. I would much rather see this team claw back from a 1-4 start and miraculously make the playoffs than just actively rooting for them to lose. But at the same time, change needs to happen in Miami, but nonetheless, I have the Dolphins winning this game. An AFC North clash as the Cleveland Browns are traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are 5.5-point favorites in this game. And this is a weird matchup, in my opinion. Not because I think these two teams are relatively close, but because the Browns are just coming off of their game in London last week, while the Steelers are coming off of their bye. And typically when a team plays internationally, they have a bye the very next week. That's not the case for Cleveland here. So I don't expect their play to really be up to a certain standard. Also, the Browns we're talking about. I think Dillon Gabriel has played fine in his brief starts in the NFL so far. But going against the Steelers defense is going to be a tough task for pretty much any quarterback that's not, 10 plus year vet at this point. Meanwhile, the Steelers, off of their bye week, haven't been playing pretty solid football this season so far. I do like them to win this game. I think their defense can be a massive part of all of this. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers, a pretty early bye week he is having, but still Aaron Rodgers had that week of rest. I think him and this offense are going to find a little bit more of a groove, unlike what we saw in some of their previous matchups, but still, I do have the Steelers to win this game. The Dallas Cowboys are traveling to the Carolina Panthers this week. The Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites. The Panthers had that great come from behind win last week against the Miami Dolphins off of the back of Rico Dowdle, who is a former Dallas Cowboy. So a little bit of a revenge game here for him. The Cowboys coming off of that win against the Jets, they played very well offensively like they have been this entire season, and defensively a little bit shaky, much like this entire season. But because of the Dallas offense, they're not going to be letting off the gas in the same way that Miami did to allow for that comeback, which means that Carolina needs to play a damn near full 60 minutes of quality football. I don't believe that they have that in them just yet, so I have the Dallas Cowboys winning this game. I do think the Dallas defense could allow for this game to be closer than it otherwise should be, but this Dallas offense is one of the better offenses in the league, and they're going to take advantage of a Carolina defense that did struggle against Miami in the first half, and the only reason that they really played a lot better was because Miami kind of forgot how to call an offense last week. So with that, I do think the Cowboys are going to be just fine. They won't have that same drastic disaster of a second half, so I have the Cowboys winning this game. The Seattle Seahawks are going cross country to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars were a 1.5-point favorite in this game. Jacksonville's coming off of that great win against Kansas City on Monday Night Football, but it is a short week. And the way that Jacksonville played that game, it does leave some questions in terms of the consistency of their team as a whole. Their defense has been fantastic for the majority of this season, and their offense has backed up that play as well. There is a reason that they sit at 4-1. Seattle is 3-2. And both of their losses have been because of basically one mistake. Their loss in week 1 was because of a pretty bad fumble by Sam Darnold that was caused because of bad right tackle play. And this loss the week prior was a bad interception thrown by Sam Darnold. But still, their offense has proven to be a really good offense this season. Defense is a little banged up, so there's some questions there. Even with that, I do have the Seahawks winning this game. I think Sam Darnold and the offense has been massively impressive this season, especially JSN as well. He has blossomed into that wide receiver 1 role. And Jacksonville playing that really high intensity game and now coming on a short week to play another high intensity game. I think the fatigue might be a bit there for that team. So Seattle will be able to take advantage of it, and they're going to come away with the win. The Los Angeles Rams are 7.5-point favorites as they travel to Baltimore this week. The Rams are looking to bounce back after that pretty bad loss to the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. But the key thing was, it was on Thursday Night Football. They've had 10 days rest to enter this game. And with Baltimore, it is seemingly like they're going to be without Lamar Jackson once again. So it's going to be Cooper Rush getting the start, and we saw how well this offense played last week against Houston with Cooper Rush under center. And they're going against a Rams defense that I think is better than the Houston defense, and a Rams team as a whole that I think is better than Houston. You can probably guess where I'm going with this. I have the Rams winning this game. They're going to be looking to bounce back. They're going to be playing pretty angry and pretty fierce in this one. And I just don't think this Ravens team, as it currently sits, especially without Lamar Jackson, has the pieces to truly turn this season around. It's going to be a tough next few weeks until Lamar Jackson gets back. Hopefully, he is back soon. But with him most likely not playing in this game, their chances, which were already pretty low, just got that much lower. So I have the Rams winning. The New England Patriots are 3.5-point favorites as they travel to the New Orleans Saints this week. The Saints got their first win on the season last week against the Giants, and that was a pretty good game from that Saints team. But that was also one of their best chances at getting a win in this season. So the fact that they played well, I was kind of expecting that. The Patriots, they had a great win against the Bills. They walked into Buffalo, a very tough place to play, and they played them very, very well. This is also a Patriots team that at times this season has been pretty inconsistent with its play, but when they are playing really well, they are playing really, really well. When they're playing poor, it is still like near enough to win games poor. So I do have the Patriots winning this game, but I think it's going to be pretty close at the end of the day. This could be a sneaky one for this Saints team, having that momentum after the win against the Giants. But the Patriots, they have quite a bit of momentum themselves. We'll see. They're gonna be without Antonio Gibson for the foreseeable future, so there's a chance for TreVeyon Henderson to get more reps and get more action. So we'll see, but I do have the Patriots winning this game. The Tennessee Titans, coming off of their first win on the season, are traveling to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are 5.5-point favorites in this game. The Raiders have had a single game with 0 interceptions thrown. They have been playing very rough as a team. Geno Smith is looking rough out there. The defense has had its moments of playing really well, but the offense just can't back it up. Ashton Jeanty has really only had one true breakout game. He's been running well, but he's really only had that one superstar performance up to this point. Tennessee, coming off of their first win against Arizona, it was not in a pretty traditional way. They got really lucky in that win. But this is also a Titans team that through the first 4 weeks of the season, they were getting some very unlucky bounces in their losses, especially that Denver game where they just had some really bad dropped passes. This is a Tennessee team that entering the year, their ceiling was a potential 7th seed for the playoffs, and the expectation was to be a sneaky team that could be a trap team for a lot of games this year. And although both teams are only sitting at a single win, I do think this could technically be a trap game. I have the Titans winning this one. It's going to be a very close, a very tight game. But I do think Tennessee just has a little bit more of a backbone to them at this point. And especially that momentum after the first win, they're going to be able to carry that with a defense that's been playing pretty well and an offense that seemingly has found a rhythm to some degree. I have the Titans winning this one. The San Francisco 49ers are traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 3-point favorites in this one. Both teams are coming off of pretty incredible wins. There were 49ers with that overtime win against the Rams on Thursday Night Football. The Buccaneers with that great road win against the Seahawks in a uniform battle for the ages. The Niners offensively are banged up to high hell, but Mac Jones has been playing well through his 3 starts on the season. And the Niners are on top of the NFC West. The Buccaneers are on top of the NFC South, and they have been playing incredibly well this season, especially Baker Mayfield and that offense. This is going to be a fantastic game. I do have the Buccaneers winning this one, in part because of the more consistency that has come from Tampa this season, compared to a again still solid play but inconsistent nature that San Francisco has had in the first 5 weeks of this season. But I do still think that San Francisco can be a team this year that is a somewhat of a competitor. But to me, Tampa is a Super Bowl contender, possibly. So I have the Buccaneers winning this game. The largest point spread of the week, the Cincinnati Bengals are traveling to the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are 14.5 point favorites. It is not Jacob Browning making the start for Cincy this week, as midweek they traded for Joe Flacco and he will be getting the start. So that's an interesting thing. Flacco is now only the Steelers away from having played for every single AFC North team. So that's a little bit of a fun fact there. The Packers are coming off of their bye week with a defense that is a top defensive unit in the league, with an offense that is a top offensive unit in the league. I would be crazy to pick against them, and thus I won't. I have the Green Bay Packers winning this game. For as much as I feel like Cincy can scrape by in this window without Joe Burrow, with the idea that if they're in playoff contention, he will be back those final 3 weeks. This is just not the game that I was ever going to pencil in Cincy with a win, even with Joe Burrow. I just think the Packers are leagues above them in terms of consistency of play, quality of team, and all around completeness of a team that they have built. So I do have the Packers taking this one off of their bye. Sunday night football and game of the week. The Detroit Lions are traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs. Surprisingly, the Chiefs are 2.5 point favorites in this game. And I say surprisingly because they are 2-3 on the year, and their 3 losses have been against some really high quality teams relatively. They lost to the Chargers in week 1, they lost to Philly in week 2, and they lost to the Jaguars last week. Now they're going against a Detroit team that they had their loss in week 1 to Green Bay, but since then have been on fire offensively and defensively. Detroit has picked up right where they left off from last year with all the injuries. Of course, they're now healthy this time around. Kansas City is looking pretty rough out there as a team. They had a better showing last week compared to the first 2-3 weeks of the season, but still, it was a showing that left quite a bit to be desired from a team that's looking to go to 4 straight Super Bowls. So I do have the Detroit Lions winning this game. They're my favorite team. They're not my favorite, but they're my favorites to make the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, I think, in the NFC now at this point. They're my number 1 team on the power rankings. I'm very high on what the Lions can be as a unit, and through 5 weeks, they have shown it for the most part. I think they'll show it here once again. Give me the Lions to win. The first part of the Monday night doubleheader, the Buffalo Bills at 4.5 point favorites are traveling to play the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a top tier uniform matchup. Both teams are wearing their throwbacks for this game. For the play on the field, that's where I'm not so sure. Buffalo is coming off of a really tough loss to the Patriots last week, a game that they should have been able to handle pretty well, but instead they looked very rough out there. I mean, the turnovers was plenty. The amount of weird and off-kiltered plays that they had definitely was not looking like the Buffalo Bills out there of the Josh Allen era. They're more so looking like the Ryan Fitzpatrick Bills. The Atlanta Falcons are coming off of their bye week, and they've been playing pretty okay through the first 4 games that they've had this season. I still think that they're a team that is going to be about a year or 2 away from really having that team fully play into his potential. So I do have the Buffalo Bills winning this game. I just think that they're a more complete team. They are the best team in the AFC at the current moment, and they're looking to bounce back. They're going to be playing angry, going to be playing fierce, and it's just Atlanta is going to be in their way of that bounce back. But I do think the Bills will be able to handle this game pretty handedly. So I have the Bills winning. The second of the Monday night doubleheader, and to wrap up week 6, the Chicago Bears are traveling to the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 4.5 point favorites in this game. The last time these 2 teams played, it was the miraculous Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels that got the Commanders the win. I think that this matchup might go pretty similar. This is going to be a pretty close game. I do think that this Bears offense and team as a whole has taken a step forward from what we saw last year. And this Commanders team has looked rough through 5 weeks, but part of it was Jaden Daniels did miss 2 weeks of the season, and this defense is still trying to find a footing. And that's why I think that this matchup will be decided. Can the Bears defense capitalize on a pretty bad Commanders defense? Or the Bears offense capitalize on a pretty bad Commanders defense? I think that they will be able to with Ben Johnson. I have the Bears winning this game. It's going to be a very nice, very good game and a very tightly contested one. I do think very well might come down to another Hail Mary. But I think at the end of the day, the Bears have learned from what went wrong in this matchup last season, and the Commanders as a whole, especially defensively, haven't gotten worse against the pass, is going to play a factor in this one. So I have the Bears winning. Well, there you go. My thoughts for week 6 of the NFL season. Let me know what you think down below. And I appreciate everyone stopping by. I'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one.